So we are back in Elyria, Ohio. I did a video, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos ago about the one that hit the guy on the bike. I believe that was it. Says shit no shame about him. When I was doing that one, I came across this, so I had it sitting on the editor waiting, and this is where we are. I'm in North Carolina. The first thing we're going to go over is, they like to call it the Gigolo List, because most people are like, oh, Gigolo List, I don't know what that is. It's the Brady List. Almost everybody has heard of the Brady List. For North Carolina, the Brady List is what the Brady List is. Doesn't matter what state you're in. This one specifically mentions North Carolina. Also, there's 3 articles and I think 4 videos. I'm not going to read the articles because I've read the articles and I've watched the videos, and the videos do an excellent job of summing up what the article is. Usually it'll be, I don't know, a 1.5-page article, and then the video will be 30 seconds just giving you highlights. But since it sums it up so well, we're just going to do the videos. And here's where we are in North Carolina.
Cops deemed too untrustworthy to testify in court is being kept a secret by Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spencer Merriweather and others across the state.
That's what WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner and the North Carolina Watchdog Reporting Network found when they started asking for the records that would expose a police officer's troubled past.
Yeah, Molly, Alex, when a police officer is caught doing something so bad their integrity is called into question, prosecutors are legally required to notify attorneys for people that officers charged and arrested. Typically, that's done in what's called a giglio letter. They're also referred to as death letters because once one is written, an officer generally can't do much of anything to solve crimes or enforce the law.
We wanted to know how many police officers had gotten giglio letters in the past 5 years across the state. So we asked for them, requesting letters from each elected district attorney in North Carolina. Nearly all responded, and almost every prosecutor denied our request. At first, a spokeswoman from Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spencer Merriweather said we'd need to send our request to the state court system office, but that's not right. Eventually, Merriweather himself responded, parroting the same denial we'd heard from every other DA, that letters were confidential criminal investigation records.
This is a letter that's communicated outside of the district attorney's office as part of the district attorney's constitutional obligations to defendants and to the public at large, and so we don't think it's exempt.
Attorney Mike Toddy represents WBTV and other media outlets in public records cases. He says Merriweather, other DAs, in the court system are wrong.
Well, if they're not specifically statutorily exempt, then they're public.
So, why are all the DAs withholding information on untrustworthy police officers if the records should be made public? Because the state court system told them to. Look at these emails sent by a lawyer for the North Carolina Administrative Office of the Courts, instructing elected DAs how to answer our request, even holding 2 webinars to coach them on keeping this information secret. Merriweather in Mecklenburg County refused to answer our questions on camera, but Ben David, the DA in New Hanover County, did talk with us.
What all the 43 elected district attorneys have asked for is guidance from staff attorneys at the Administrative Office of the Courts, Attorney General's offices, and others, and we're going to continue to follow that guidance.
He defended withholding records on officer misconduct, even as he said public confidence was important to doing his job.
The public trust requires that we are transparent about when we fall short of the expectations of this community.
Yeah, now 2 bills with identical language have passed in the state House and Senate that would create a database of giglio letters. But if you're hoping for some transparency from those bills, both of them would make that database of these letters secret, so the public still doesn't get any of this critical information.
A lot of secrets surrounding this entire story. It's absolutely.
A lot of information. Nick Oxner, thank you.
Thank you, Nick. A lot. Yeah, that's some secret squirrel shit. They do not want you to know. Now, trust and believe, they lock you up, they'll print you, and they'll put your picture and all your shit out there, but you're not about to know anything about them.
Tonight with what's essentially been called a career killer. It's called a giglio letter. Prosecutors can issue them when they learn information about a police officer or a sheriff's deputy that would call their credibility on the stand into question. Ultimately, it can lead to them not being able to testify in court, but also not being able to make any arrest or be involved with handling evidence. It's why that it's considered a career killer. But in North Carolina, local prosecutors don't have to reveal who those officers are that received the letters. There's no formal system for tracking Giglio letters. And when the North Carolina Watchdog Reporting Network requested those letters from all of the state's DA's offices, it was denied. Here was part of WBTV's Nick Oxner's report today.
First, a spokeswoman for Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spencer Merriweather said we'd need to send our request to the state court system office, but that's not right. Eventually, Merriweather himself responded, parroting the same denial we'd heard from every other DA, that letters were confidential criminal investigation records.
This is a letter that's communicated outside of the district attorney's office as part of the district attorney's constitutional obligations to defendants and to the public at large, and so we don't think it's exempt.
Attorney Mike Toddy represents WBTV and other media outlets in public records cases. He says Merriweather, other DAs, and the court system are wrong.
Well, if they're not specifically statutorily exempt, then they're public.
So, why are all the DAs withholding information on untrustworthy police officers if the records should be made public? Because the state court system told them to. Look at these emails sent by a lawyer for the North Carolina Administrative Office of the Courts, instructing elected DAs how to answer our request. Even
I thought this was going to sum up the rest of the article, and it might. It's a little bit longer.
Holding 2 webinars to coach them on keeping this information secret. Merriweather in Mecklenburg County refused to answer our questions on camera, but Ben David, the DA in New Hanover County, did talk with us.
What all the 43 elected district attorneys have asked for is guidance from staff attorneys at the Administrative Office of the Courts, Attorney General's offices, and others, and we're going to continue to follow that guidance.
Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Oxner is sitting down with us now. Nick, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about the history of these Giglio letters.
Yeah, so they're based on court law, court case law. A while ago, it was determined that if a police officer that's involved in a case, if there's some information about that officer that might call their credibility into question, then that information needs to be disclosed to a defendant in a criminal case and their lawyer, so that way they, if it's relevant, they can raise the credibility question. And so that case was called the Giglio case, and thus these are called Giglio letters. Funny name, serious topic. And so basically, these have been around for decades now. Anytime that there's a police officer who is deemed too untrustworthy, basically, whose credibility is called too much into question that they can't reasonably get on a witness stand and testify, that's generally when you'd have Giglio material or Giglio letter issued.
In journalism, we always talk about the importance of transparency. But with these Giglio letters, why is it so important that we know who these letters are being issued against?
Well, we're talking about these letters are written when a police officer is not credible anymore, right? And if they're not credible to testify in a court trial, that means they functionally can't arrest people because they would have to testify in those. They can't really handle evidence. They can't be involved in really most of the basic tenets.
They can't write a ticket because if you're going to contest it, they'll just not show up to court. It's total bullshit, and for that, the taxpayers get to keep footing the bill.
Of law enforcement. And so we're talking about police officers. Oftentimes this Giglio material comes from law enforcement agencies themselves or from prosecutors to determine that a police officer is not credible. And so we're talking about police officers who are so untrustworthy they can't do their jobs anymore. And right now they're totally secret.
You just brought up the main issue. We don't know who these are being issued against. Do we have any idea, though, what happens to some of these officers if they were to be issued one of these letters? A desk job, off the force?
We really don't know because so few of them have become public, right? We obtained one a couple years ago in the case of Jason Reed, the son of then Catawba County Sheriff Coy Reed, right? And Jason Reed had a Giglio letter from both the U.S. Attorney's Office and locally from the local district attorney in Catawba County, and was still working as a captain over the narcotics unit.
No formal system for tracking these.
He got promotions, and he can't even testify in court. He's a captain. Let that sink in.
There is legislation that is passing through right now that would kind of regulate this in some manner.
Yeah, there's 2 different bills, one in the state Senate, one that passed the state Senate, one that passed the state House. Both of them would create a database of these letters and would require them to be reported to a certain place in Raleigh. The problem with both of these on the transparency piece is both the bills would create a secret database. So the police would have access to these, but once again, the public would not have access to these letters.
A lot of secrecy here.
Secrecy is the name of the game when it comes to Giglio letters.
Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Oxner, thank you for sitting down with us. You can watch and read more.
Secrecy is all law enforcement is anymore. They don't want you to know anything. So that's a backstory of the Giglio List, the Brady List, to bring us to Elyria, Ohio. So when people watch this and they're like, well, I don't know what the Giglio is, now you know. Go watch it from the beginning all the way through to understand where this is going. So video 2 is going to show you the beginning, and video 3 is going to wrap it up.
If you want to kick the door in and go and get your stuff, you're more than welcome to. Any door can be kicked in, depending on how hard you work on it.
They had no right to even go up there and grab them and arrest them and cuff them.
Now at 6, a controversial arrest caught on camera. Police barge into a man's home without his permission and without a warrant, which begs the question, did police cross the line here? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Tiffany Tucker. This all started when an officer told the man's ex-girlfriend that she could kick down his door.
19 investigator Mike Mason has the exclusive body camera video. Watch it for yourself.
By the way, that information that I think they're calling her a senior officer Page gave that person is incorrect.
You decide.
Raul Ortiz is still reeling from the day Elyria police officers stormed into his home without a warrant. By the time it was over, he'd be tased, arrested, and charged with 5 felonies.
Of course.
19 investigators obtained this police body cam footage from May 11th of last year. It shows officers meeting up with Ortiz's ex-girlfriend, Brittany Warner. She moved out of Ortiz's home after they broke up. In the video, Warner tells officers she needs help getting back into the house to get some belongings because Ortiz wouldn't let her in.
That is a civil matter for the courts. These people got zero business being there. They should know they got the gun and the badge. They're supposed to be the smart ones. That's a civil matter, not for them. Because trust and believe, if it was, I think they just don't like the guy. If you just saw one, like, sitting in the car and like, yo, I need to go in here, and they'd be like, that's a civil case. Or ask them a question or two, well, that's a civil case, you got to go to the courts.
Go over and see if they'll cooperate with us there.
Okay. I'll follow you guys over there, okay? Okay.
When officers arrive at Ortiz's home, he refuses to let them in.
Do you have a key to the house?
Nope. How about you come back with a fucking warrant? How about you do that?
He took my key.
Officer
She does not live there anymore. Her residency there is over. This is total bullshit. They got, matter of fact, get off my property.
Paige Mitchell then tells Warner
This is the senior officer. You can't make this shit up. She's every bit of, I think, like 5 foot nothing. In the event she had to go hands up, there is no way if there wasn't a bunch of male cops around, she would ever survive. And she's a senior officer. Let that sink in.
she has the right to enter the home, even suggesting she kick in the door.
You've lived
That is incorrect. That is, and if I'm his attorney, I'm bringing the cops in with him.
here, so if you want to kick the door in and go and get your stuff, you're more than welcome to. Any door can be kicked in, depending on how hard you work on it.
So Warner kicks the door in as officers Colty Hirsch and Chris Lewis follow her upstairs. Hirsch can be seen pulling out his gun. Moments later, Ortiz can be heard struggling with officers. A window shatters. Mitchell tases Ortiz as he tells officers
He said he has a heart condition, so what does she do? She compounds his condition by tasing him. Why? Because there's usually no accountability. They don't care. That matter of fact, I'm surprised the other one didn't shoot and kill him.
about his heart condition. Trying to get them to stop, Ortiz grabs the taser and quickly drops it. Minutes later, things calm down.
You shot, you idiot! Let's go, now!
Ortiz's mother tries to intervene.
My son, come on, I understand. Go, calm down, please, come on.
as he's cuffed and taken away.
And I want that one that's just putting her hands all over the mother for assault and battery.
Ortiz is then slapped with multiple charges, including assaulting a police officer and aggravated robbery for grabbing Mitchell's taser. His mother's also charged with obstruction for stepping in.
They had no right to even go up there and grab him and arrest him and cuff him.
Ortiz's attorney, Anthony Nisi, worked as a police officer for decades.
Why they did it, I can't answer that.
Because they can.
He says video from the other two officers was never saved. So Nisi
Of course it
compared
wasn't.
body cam footage with what officers wrote in their reports and says it didn't match up. Then he filed a motion to dismiss the charges, and the case was dropped. Now Nisi wants all three officers held accountable.
Say to this person, go kick the door in. We can't. What were you thinking? They broke the law.
These officers were not charged with a crime, and their union rep is standing behind them. Elyria's police chief will only say the body cam footage from the other two officers wasn't saved due to an oversight.
It's always an oversight when they do not want you to know something. Trust and believe. It's somewhere. It's in that cloud somewhere. You can delete, you can erase, you cannot. It came through a body camera. It is in that cloud somewhere. They don't want you to see that shit.
The officers' personnel files show they were not disciplined for this incident.
Shocking. It is
Tomorrow,
not.
hear what Ortiz has to say about what happened and what he plans to do about it. I'm Mike Mason, 19 News.
Thank you, Mike. So, this is where we're at on, what's the date on this one? The 24th. And, you all right, Scotchy? That's the dog in there. She's got something going on. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, so now let's go to February 4th, 2025. Let's see what this one's about. Little Miss Page. Of course. There's no need.
A traditional classroom setting where you read the
There's no need to even try to queue up past this shit anymore.
material that way.
And I'm not editing it out either, so we'll just deal with it.
Of experience, action,
Takes too much time.
reflection, where the students can learn by doing and learn by experience.
Local police officer no longer allowed to testify in court, her credibility being called into question.
This comes after 19 Investigates exposed how she mishandled an incident where she and two other officers barged into a man's home without a warrant.
Mike Mason broke this story. He has new information for us, all new at 6.
This officer has been with the Elyria Police Department for the past 10 years. She's also president of the police union. Now the prosecutor's office has placed...
She is also president of the police union. Let that sink in. We figure out where all the rest of the body cam footage went. She is also president of the union. She's on the Brady List. That is where we are at in 2025 with law enforcement. And I keep saying it, but you can't make this up.
on the Brady List, stating she has a history of making false statements. In May of 2023, 3 Elyria police officers stormed the home of Raul Ortiz. Senior Officer Paige Mitchell tased, arrested, and charged Ortiz with 5 felonies. But those charges were later dismissed. And a year later, when 19 Investigates aired Mitchell's body cam footage, she was suspended for mishandling the situation. Now the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office has placed Mitchell on what's called the Brady List, which means she's banned from testifying in court because of credibility issues. 19 Investigates confirmed the Lorain County Prosecutor's former chief of staff placed Mitchell on that list last October. He says Mitchell provided 3 false statements to investigators when questioned about the incident. In one example, when Mitchell was asked why she didn't stop Ortiz's ex-girlfriend from kicking in the door, Mitchell claimed she was distracted because she was having a conversation with the ex's friend. But on Mitchell's body cam...
After she told her to kick the door in, and then she watches her go kick the door in, and then lies about it. Which is why you can't see their body cam footage. Because, you know, she's the senior officer.
...footage, it's clear she's the one who told the ex to enter the home.
You've lived here, so if you want to kick the door in and go and get your stuff, you're more than welcome to.
Mitchell was also questioned why she tased Ortiz.
Also, I would like to note that the 2 good cops that were standing there, because you know there's got to be good cops somewhere, stopped none of it. Not only did they stop none of it, they went on with it, and at least one of them pulled a firearm on this man. It's a wonder they didn't shoot and kill him. It's bullshit.
teased after he told her he had a heart condition. In her report, she claimed he told her that at the same time she was tasing him. But video showed
He says, I have a heart condition. She tased him, and then as she's tasing him, he said, I have a heart condition, even louder.
she actually tased him 5 seconds later. Mitchell also told investigators she handled the incident according to the way she was trained. But the prosecutor's office found Mitchell was taught to stay out of civil cases.
Thank you. Yes, based on my training and experience, please fucking stop with the bullshit. If they don't know a civil matter from a criminal matter, they have no business being in law enforcement. That's their whole job, is to enforce the law. It's a civil matter. They got and not only were they there, they told the ex-girlfriend and encouraged her to break the law by kicking the door in, and then them, without a warrant, went right in with her.
And let the courts handle them. We reached out to Officer Mitchell for comment, but we haven't heard back. Mike
And when you hear back, the comment will be no comment. You know that's the way it goes, Mike.
Mason, 19 News.
All right. Thank you, Mike. So, that's where we're at with this one. I had it ready to go not ready to go, but I had it on my to-do list when the other one came up. But yeah, that's where we're at with this one. Little Miss Senior Officer Page, and she can't testify in court, but she still got a job as far as I understand, and taxpayers feel free to pick that one up. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Also, again, 90% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You are right here looking at it right now. All you gotta do is click that button and like and share, and I'm out.